Welcome to another season of the Inside the Charge podcast. Yes, we're back. Football is here. This year, we're going to be joined by so many different players on the Buffalo Bills squad. In our first episode, we've got second-year running back Ray Davis joining the show. Ray talks about going from a running back to a kicker this offseason, how exciting that was for him, what he's expecting in his second season after having 6 touchdowns during his rookie year. We also dive into his love for cooking, some things that have worked for him in the kitchen and some things that haven't worked as well. And we dive into the trip that our Bills content team took home with Ray to California to discuss his upbringing and the Ray Davis story. Ray talks about what he learned from that experience. We also have Ray's big brother from the Big Brothers Big Sisters program, Patrick Dowley, joining us. Patrick talks about his excitement for Ray's second year in the NFL and also discusses his relationship with Ray and his thoughts about Ray taking over as kicker during the Giants preseason game. It's a fun episode and there's a lot more to come. Enjoy. Ray, thanks for taking the time to sit down with us ahead of a really exciting game on Sunday Night Football. The season kicks off on a huge stage for you guys. When does the excitement set in for Ray Davis?
Probably like right before kickoff.
Okay.
I think it's like the calm before the storm. I'm just taking it, minute by minute, hour by hour, and I think right when the kickoff comes in, it'd be like, holy moly, this is real good.
You get the rush of energy right before kick. You're like, let's do this thing.
Yeah, you hit that smelling salt, and then you're ready to hit the field.
Hit the smell and salt. That's Ray Davis's secret sauce to get ready for the game. Ray, you had 6 total touchdowns in your rookie season. A productive year for you. What energy are you bringing into year 2?
To just continue to be me, and continue to just have fun. And I think all the little mental mistakes I was making as a rookie, I'm trying to fix those things and just embrace my role and go out there and show a year or 2 that I can continue to stack days and stack games.
You said continue to have fun. How do you define fun on the football field?
Just understanding there's going to be bad plays, and you just can't hold yourself down and dwell on that play. You got to have fun. You're in the NFL. I get to play in front of thousands of fans and just to be able to live a dream that most people love to live. So I got to be able to have fun with it and smile through all the chaos.
We see you smile a lot out there, so it looks like you're having fun. Offensive coordinator Joe Brady said you've done a great job of growing in the offense this offseason. How does that transformation happen?
It was really just getting the playbook and understanding that, when me and Joe talk, it was, hey, I'm going to throw a lot on your plate. Let's see how much you can handle. And that all throughout the summer just stuck in my brain. Let's make sure I'm dialing in on pass protection, make sure I'm dialing on my runs, my reads. And then, when camp comes, it's about showing him I went in the lab, I got to work. Everything you told me to get better at, I promise you I got better at.
Why does the sink or swim mentality work for you?
That's life. That's always just been my whole life, sink or swim, right? We got to, when you're back against the wall, you're going to fold or you're going to go out there and do what you got to do. So I apply that in everything that I do in life, even when I'm cooking. It's like a sink or swim. Like either this food's going to taste good or it's going to taste bad.
Okay, what are we cooking now?
Hey, the basics still.
The basics.
I'm working my way up a little bit, but yeah, I'll look at stuff on TikTok and I'm like, let's try that.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't know if it'll taste good or not, but.
What's swimming? What's doing well in the kitchen and what's sunk this offseason?
The biggest thing was, me and DC. DC does Fat Boy Fridays. I do Big Back Thursdays. And so we collabed and we made these buffalo chicken tacos off of TikTok. I saw and I sent it to him. And that was swimming in the deep end and in the shallow end. It did perfect. And then the sinking probably was the ranch that I made. It was not good.
The ranch?
Yeah.
From scratch?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a big step to be like, I'm gonna try cooking and I'm gonna try to make ranch from scratch.
It was a big sink.
Is scrolling through TikTok something that you like to do just to relax at the end of the day?
Mostly just for food.
For food.
Like, I'll try to find stuff here in Buffalo if I see some, foodie people from Buffalo. Or I'll just look at recipes and I'll send it over to DC and I'm like, yo, maybe we should do this. But outside of that, I just like looking at the sky.
Do you have a go-to meal that you have for yourself to reward yourself after a big game?
Yeah, shout out Lucia's. Got to get me a Wagyu steak at Lucia's.
Ooh.
That's just definitely the celebrational meal right there.
I like it. Your game has been described in so many different ways through just your rookie season. It's Ray Davis is a bulldozer. Ray Davis is a hammer. He's a ball of nails. What's been your favorite way that you've heard your game described?
Ball of nails is a new one for me. I've never heard that one. I get it a lot. I get a bowling ball. I get just a big old rock. Like, I've got it all. That's cool and everything, but I just try to tell people, man, just call me versatile. I don't got to just be this big bulldozer kind of back. Like, I could do it all. So
you can.
I just prefer people to just call me a versatile back.
Okay, versatile back. You heard it here first on Inside the Charge. Speaking of versatile, you showed that this offseason with your leg. You're not just a running back, Ray. You are also a kicker. You got to kick an extra point in the preseason game against the Giants. I heard the process leading up to this was a quick stop at Dick's Sporting Goods to buy the cleats. Take me through it.
Well, shout out to our equipment staff. Once we found out that it was a possibility, I talked to Spence, talked to Jeff and Scobes, and I'm like, yo, we might need a cleat. I don't have a cleat. We're going to need a cleat. And I was like, do you guys have a 10.5? And sadly, T-Bass doesn't wear the same size as me, so he didn't have an extra shoe. And so they made the run over the Dick's Sporting Good, and they were able to get the cleat. And we just knew that cleat was going to mean something special once we were able to kick the ball in the field goal. So I have the cleat framed in my house.
You have it framed in your house?
Yeah.
That
my
is epic.
1-for-1 field goal attempt.
1-for-1. Hey, maybe 2-for-2 in the future one day. Maybe next preseason. Retiring.
Yeah,
okay, retiring because you want to retire 100% field goal make or extra point make percentage. I
want to go down as the greatest kicker of all time. Guarantee you, and I will be the greatest kicker of all time. No one's 1-for-1 like me.
No one's 1-for-1 like Ray Davis. Okay, you go out there to kick the extra point, and Sean McDermott detailed, we want to try this because he's our emergency kicker, and we need to go through everything that happens leading up to, okay, Ray needs to change his shoe in like 30 seconds. When you get out on the field, were there any nerves in that moment of all eyes are on me right now?
So the funny thing is, on the sideline, Tapes comes up and he's like, you're going to kick the next field goal. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I'm like, oh, wait, we're about to score. So Dawson scores, and I'm like kicking off the shoe. Tapes is trying to grab the shoe. I'm like, no, I got it. I kick it off. We throw the shoe on. It wasn't even fully on. If anybody see, it was like kind of halfway off my foot. And I remember D-Doc coming back and setting up, and he's like, yo, we got 10 seconds. And I'm like, oh, I can't even go through my steps. I'm like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. And then I just decided to go, well, sink or swim. Let's hope I make it. And I made it, and we looked at each other, me and Brad, and we go, holy, I made it. So it was a shocking. I wasn't nervous, but I was like, I made it, though.
I mean, to have the shoe half on, to not go through your walk-up process to kicking that ball, total athlete right there. Yeah. What was the best comment you heard once you came back to the bench?
Everybody expected me to make it, so
it
wasn't a lot of comments. But, my running backs, Ty and Diev, was just like, they was just pumping me up and hyping me up, so it was pretty cool.
One of the best storylines this offseason was the fact that the Bills drafted a couple Kentucky guys. You are a Kentucky man yourself. Deion Walker gets added to the roster, Maxwell Hairston as well. What do the Kentucky boys do in their free time here in Buffalo?
Max is probably always at barbell, I can tell you that for sure. Deion's sitting at home probably, and me, I'm just sitting at home. But we got a chance to all hang out. Max was living with me for his first couple of weeks he was here, so we got to be around each other a bunch and got to explore Buffalo, and same with Deion. I was just in Kentucky with Deion at the game, so we got to hang out a little bit too. But also another fun fact, another one of my teammates is here, Sam Franklin. We were at Temple.
That is true.
We were at Temple together, so I'm 3 teammates in.
People hear that Ray Davis is in Buffalo, and people come flocking. They're like, I want to play with my college teammate again.
Hey, watch out, Josh Allen, I'm here. I'm here,
It's
man.
the Ray Davis show.
Literally.
How neat is it to go back to a school like Kentucky where you've had a year in the NFL now, you come back to a different home in Kentucky and you get to see everybody and kind of soak it all in?
Yeah, I got a lot of love for everybody over at Kentucky. That 1 year I had with them was something special, and the relationships that I gained and the resources that I was able to gain, they're going to be lifelong relationships. And both of my sisters actually go to school in Kentucky, so it gives me another reason to go back a bunch of times to be able to spend time with them. But to be in a place where I call home and somewhere that I know that I'm going to always be loved and trusted, it's a place that I'll never forget, and it's also going to be a place that I'm going to always want to be around.
Ray, you have an incredible story. It's one of perseverance. It's one of sink or swim, as we've already talked about in this episode. Our videographers and some of our content team got to go home with you to California to cover your story and your upbringing. What was something that you learned about yourself again after kind of detailing how Ray Davis came to be?
I just kind of learned like I made it. Like I made it out of this environment. Like I really got to go back home after not being there for so long and not being able to take them around like friends that I grew up with, or not being able to take the crew around just a lot of places that I really experienced, but it was because people were no longer there, or those were bad moments. So it was one of those, like, I made it, I'm blessed to be where I'm at, but I'm glad to be able to bring a light onto my hometown and to show like there was a struggle, like life wasn't perfect, right? And I'm in the situation I'm in because of all the trials and tribulations I faced, and to be able to take the crew back and show them, hey, it wasn't easy, but every pit stop I went through, I'm glad I'm here now.
To watch you smile through it all, to have the personality you do is incredible. Everybody should take a look at the episode if they haven't yet. It's on buffalobills.com. And your big brother, you're huge into the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. Your big brother Patrick is going to join us later on this episode.
Okay.
Got any questions we should ask Patrick?
Ask him if he still thinks he could beat me in a race.
Okay.
I think he'll stand on that. But I didn't even know that, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we're going to interview him in about 30 minutes here.
Oh, shoot, that's cool, man. Tell him I miss him. I haven't talked to him in a minute. I've been so busy with camp, but he knows I got a lot of love for him. I'm excited to get Peter and Miles to a game.
I love it. Thanks for sitting down with us, Ray.
Thank you so much.
We just had an incredible interview with Ray Davis, and now I'm so excited to have Patrick Dowley join the conversation, who knows Ray more than most people in Buffalo. And Ray is so special to you because Ray was your little brother. You guys are involved in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program in San Francisco and got matched up with each other more than 15 years ago. We all saw the Beyond Blue and Red episode that went out this off season where Ray goes home and details his story. Patrick, you were a big part of that video that came out. It's so inspiring to see what Ray has done and just to see how successful he has been in such a short amount of time in the NFL. But first, for you, what was it like getting to meet Ray for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think, in mind-boggling, I think we're coming on into 18 years now since we first met, which is just unbelievable. I think both he and I would probably share that sentiment. Time flies when you're having fun. But look, getting involved in Big Brothers Big Sisters was sort of a whimsical decision for me. It was based on a desire to give back, to try and have an impact on a child's life. I obviously had no idea who I was going to meet, who I was going to be paired with. We've talked about it a little bit in our documentary that we made, but just, like, I was sitting in a Boys and Girls Club in the Tenderloin in San Francisco, and in walks a little kid, 8 years old, big old smiles on his face, his crazy green eyes that I think everybody's, aware of. And just a funny, precocious, great kid that I really hit it off. We hit it off immediately. I've always been a big sports fan. He's obviously a big sports fan. And it was just a very easy, smooth introduction, which neither of us had any idea where it was going to go. But here we are talking today, and, there's been, a lot of coverage about our match and our relationship. And, it just continues to this day. It's a relationship born, or a friendship born on trust and being there for each other.
Here we are 18 years later. When you have a friend of 18 years or more, I think you have a friend for life. That's a meaningful friendship when you go that long. You look back on life and say, man, this person has been in my life for more than 15 years. You spoke about Ray's smile, and that's something that if you're around Ray in the building, if you have an interaction with Ray at a game, Ray Davis has this smile that just illuminates a room. It's easy to feel the warmth coming off of him. In some of your first interactions with Ray, when did you know how great Ray's heart was?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that, as he mentioned, he wears his heart on his sleeve. It's easy to tell that there's a beautiful heart inside of this person. And that was clear even then. And like I mentioned before, I had no idea the background. I had no idea the story. I had no idea what I was walking into. But I guess, I live life by the mantra of always giving everybody the benefit of the doubt and, trust everybody until they give you a reason to not trust them. And Ray has never once given me a reason to not trust him. And I think that, his ability to trust me early on was incredibly impressive. Now that we know the story, the backstory, the fact that he was willing to open up, the fact that he was willing to trust me so quickly, really, says a lot about him. He was looking for somebody to, not necessarily help him out, but just sort of be a friend and be somebody that he could trust. And I, I provided that for him, and I didn't even know I was doing it, frankly. But that's my nature, and his natural demeanor and my natural demeanor are a great fit. So it was pretty obvious. And then during our first couple of outings, we went to a baseball game. We would go get a bite to eat or something like that. Just smooth and easy, right? We're both fairly easy. We're both very easygoing people, but that again, our natural, our natures just sort of blended in a nice way.
Getting to see Ray graduate high school, his success in college football, playing for SEC schools, now seeing what he's done in just 1 year in the NFL, how has watching his growth and upbringing over the last several years changed you and your family for the better?
I mean, in unbelievable ways. I met Ray when I was still a bachelor. I've, since gotten married, since had two beautiful boys, Peter and Miles. But watching Ray and being raised big through his childhood and through my bachelorhood was an unbelievable preparation for what marriage, family life, raising children is going to be like, right? Ray, like every other kid on earth, had ups and downs, right? Despite his background being a little bit tougher being a lot tougher than most other people's, he had the normal ups and downs that you could expect. Now, there were definitely times where I was scratching my head and saying, is college in the future here? I don't know, but he got through high school and he graduated from phenomenal high schools. He got into college, graduated from Vanderbilt, an unbelievable university down in the SEC. He made it to the NFL. All of these things were just a testament to who this guy is, and really provided me and now my wife and my kids an example of what fortitude and what drive and what grit can actually get you. To summarize quickly, he's been an unbelievable inspiration to me and my family throughout his entire journey.
It's so cool. And when you watch the Bills documentary, the Beyond Blue and Red episode about Ray Davis, there's this line that you have where you're recalling the game that Ray had against Kentucky, or when he was playing for Kentucky against Florida, I should say, where Ray goes off for 4 touchdowns. And you say, that's when I knew Sundays were coming. Now that Sundays are here, what's been your favorite part about watching Ray Davis in the league?
I mean, just seeing him in the league from my perspective is unbelievable, right? This is somebody I know incredibly well, right? But I think the cooler aspect of it is watching my kids watch him play and just seeing that in it there. My boys are 9 and 7. They love Ray. They've met him multiple times. They have a friend that's in the NFL. They are literally jumping up and down every time he touches the ball, every time he scores a touchdown. It's unbelievable. Now, if I had to come up with one seminal memory of we did last year against the Jets, Monday Night Football, James was hurt. Ray got the start. He had, Josh had this rollout to the right, sort of Hail Mary pass, 50 something yards. I was talking to Ray. I'm like, what happened on that thing? He's like, I completely lost it in the lights. It hit me right in the middle of the chest pad, and I kind of had to catch it in my lap before I went down. I mean, it was just, for me, an unbelievable play. And again, like I said, kids jumping up and down, screaming, just such a cool experience. We see him run a lot, but to see him catch long range passes as well, unreal.
I think that's when Ray showed off his versatility to the world. Hey, I'm more than a running back. Look how I can help Josh Allen in this element of the game. Ray also got to show the world this offseason, hey, if you need me to be a kicker, I can be your kicker. He did it in the preseason game against the Giants, kicked an extra point successfully. Was incredible to watch him change out his shoes that quickly. How surprised were you to see, oh, there goes Ray Davis now turning into a kicker?
It's a funny story. I'm not at all surprised. And the reason is I played rugby when I was young, and I was the goal kicker on my rugby team. So I used to take Ray out to Stanford and to other places and teach him how to kick rugby balls,
Gosh,
which is a
that's where
similar
it
sort of thing.
started.
But, so no, I would never, ever claim, responsibility for any of his athletic um, ability. But, I think, I used to talk to him a lot about that. And, I think, and so it doesn't surprise me. And I knew that he could do this. And he's obviously got some pretty powerful legs underneath him. So not at all surprised to see him kick. And I would love to see him get the opportunity in the regular season.
Right. Speaking of athletic ability, I said, Ray, what question do we have to ask Patrick? And he said, ask Patrick if he thinks he can still beat me in a race. What's the decision here?
So this has been a long running joke, and I've always messed with him that I could always beat him. And unfortunately, I just had my 50th birthday, so I think now my hamstrings would probably explode if I even
You're
tried.
hanging up the cleats.
I got to hang him up, right? So it's time, and I will, with pride and honor, hand the crown over to Ray as the fastest guy in our relationship.
All right, Ray, the fastest guy in the relationship.
Congrats,
he
buddy.
now.
It's about time.
Congrats, Ray. Ray's going to have an exciting year ahead of him. Second year in the NFL. One of our coaches on offense, Joe Brady, our offensive coordinator, said Ray's done a great job of understanding this offense during the offseason. What are you expecting from Ray in year 2?
I'm expecting more of the same. I was delighted to see James re-sign. It's great to have such a great leader in front of him, and somebody that he can sort of emulate and learn from. And Ray is, to his credit, he's a great learner. He watches what's going on around him and he picks it up and he learns. And, like your OC said, he learns these offenses. But what I also expect is when Ray does get his opportunities, expect fireworks. From every Pop Warner I watched him, every Pop Warner game, every high school game, every college game, just hold your breath when he gets the ball because he's going to do something insane. So I expect more of the same and a similar, if not higher, touchdown count.
I love that. Hold your breath and expect fireworks. I think that's a great way to describe Ray Davis's game because it is so fun watching him with the ball in his hands. He's such a bruiser out there. Might be small, but watch out. He's going to barrel through a defensive line. I know Big Brothers Big Sisters is so near and dear to your heart, both you and Ray. How are you guys continuing on with your relationship with that organization?
So, we are both very, very committed to this. We've done a number of activities around, for the Big Brothers, including he was inducted into the Big Brothers Big Sisters Hall of Fame over the summer. He was unfortunately at camp, but I had the opportunity to fly out to Philadelphia, accept that award for him, which was one of the great honors of my life, to see him or, to represent him on the big stage out there. And then moving forward, a new piece of news as of yesterday. I haven't even told Ray this, but I have had the honor of being elected to the board of directors for the Big Brothers Big Sisters chapter in the San Francisco Bay Area. So I will be taking sort of, a leading role in trying to continue to grow this organization, create matches, create opportunities for these kids and encourage more bigs to come out and sign up. There are a list of kids out there waiting to be matched up with a big. It doesn't take much to be a big, and the impact you can have on a little's life is unbelievable. So I'm really honored to be elected to that board and really looking forward to giving back in a really meaningful way to try and continue what Ray and I have and recreate what Ray and I got to do together.
That's really awesome, and congratulations. So cool to hear. One of my favorite things about getting to learn about some of our new players when they get drafted or brought to Buffalo is the causes that come along with them, what they are so close to, what they love to do in their free time, how they love to help whatever community they're a part of, whether that be in Buffalo or in San Francisco. It's awesome to see these players get this huge stage and then use that huge stage for good in our world. And it's been great to see what Ray's done with it already and partnering with you in that way.
And more to come. We are both very committed to continuing our involvement here. So really looking forward.
More to come. Well, Patrick, thank you so much for taking the time to join us on this episode of Inside the Charge. An exciting season ahead for the Buffalo Bills and Ray Davis. We cannot wait.
Indeed. Me too. Go Ray and go Bills. Thank you.
Go Ray and go Bills. Thanks, Patrick. Thank you so much for tuning in to the first episode of the Inside the Charge podcast for the 2025 NFL season. There's so much more to come. We're diving into so many stories that our players have and learning about who they are without the football helmet on. I'm excited for you guys to join us as we continue throughout the season.